you cannot keep ignoring this. It's coming whether you like it or not. Let's talk about the future of AI in the music industry. What's up everyone, my name is Rosendo, welcome back to my channel, and we are back with another video. And today we're going to be talking about AI and how I think AI is going to be affecting the music industry in the future. A little bit more of a serious video today. We're just going to be talking about my beliefs and my perspectives on how I think AI is going to affect the music industry. And I know I talked about wanting to share a little bit more about concepts and ideas, and at the end of the day this will just be my opinion, but I think this is definitely something I want to share with the world. I think this is something we need to be talking about because you see a lot of posts nowadays about AI in the music industry and music production, and I do think we should have a serious talk about how I think it will affect things, because I do think it will affect things, and I think it's important to discuss how and why and what you should know about it. Now, I know some people might want to be avoiding this topic or not want to think about it, but I definitely think it's something we should be considering. And I'll say one more time, again, these are just my opinions and my beliefs, but these are things that I've thought about, and these are things that I truly think will be the future of AI in the music industry. So I definitely think this is a video you should be watching, because we're music producers at the end of the day. We're music producers, we're DJs. I'm an EDM music producer. This video will be specifically for EDM because I think it might actually affect other industries more. If, for example, you make beats or instrumentals or things like that. So I'm talking from the perspective of EDM here, but we're going to talk about how AI is going to affect the future of EDM music production. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so this video is going to be divided into 3 parts and how I think AI is going to affect music production in EDM, what I call the good, the bad, and the good again. So let's start by talking about what I think will be the good of AI in music production. There are some good things that are going to come out of AI. I would even say now or in the next few years. AI is absolutely going to open the door and remove the barrier to entry to artists and producers who might not have the money or skills to start out. I guarantee you there's at least one future music producer or artist who will absolutely change the game and will be a huge name, who will be able to get their start because of AI. AI is going to allow people to do things that they wouldn't be able to do on their own. Let's say you're a vocalist or singer or songwriter who wants to make their own music, but they don't have a producer or the skills to produce a track, and they're not able to release music. Or let's say you're a music producer with an innate sense of musical creativity, but there are a lot of gaps in your music production that you can't fill out. AI might be able to help fill those gaps, whether it be in sound design or mixing or mastering or whatever. There are going to be visions that will be able to be brought to life that wouldn't otherwise be possible without AI. And I promise you that there are people out there right now that are extremely talented and extremely creative that wouldn't be able to get into the industry without AI. AI and AI tools in music production are going to allow those talented and creative people to focus on just making music and doing what they do best and providing the creative component of music making, while letting these AI tools take care of the rest, the sound design, the arrangement, the actual generation of instruments and sounds. And this is going to be a great thing for music production because it's going to let those creatives really shine and really be able to get out there if they didn't have the means to do so before. It's going to allow people to come into the industry, it's going to allow people to really change the game, and it's going to provide more ways for people to be creative and make more unique music when they wouldn't be able to do so otherwise. So again, that's just a quick way that I think AI will change the music industry for good. It's going to open more doors for more people, and it's going to allow some really creative people to get into the music industry and make some really, really creative music. All right, now let's talk about the bad, because of course there will be downsides, and we're already seeing some of those right now. With the fact that music will be so easy to make for a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of people making music just to make music. They see it as a source of fame, as a source of money, as a source of doing something that isn't for the love of music, but just to make some fast money. I think the music industry is going to be flooded by a lot of unoriginal, uncreative tracks that were made from AI, from people who just made those tracks just because they could. And we can see it all the time right now in AI generated art, AI generated content, and a lot of things that are taking over that don't really have their intention or their meaning or their artistic values behind them. It's just people generating these things to post them so they can get fame, get attention, attract an audience, make money, get sponsors, or whatever. And that's one of the reasons I think a lot of people critique AI, because it's gonna take a lot of work away from people, and it's really in some sense gonna kill the creativity and the work of actually doing these things and accomplishing these things. You know, if AI is doing your mixing and DJing and transitioning for you, you're not really doing much behind the decks, and AI is just kind of taking control of the night, and it's not really allowing you as a DJ or whoever the DJ is to express themselves on the decks. If AI is generating chords and guitar loops and sounds for everyone to use, there's going to be a lot less original music out there, and things are just going to get really boring. And again, I understand the critiques, they are valid in this regard. We can already see it with a lot of AI generated content out there that's being put out on social media, content that really kind of lacks depth and lacks creativity. And in a lot of ways, the music industry will turn into that. There's going to be a lot of music and tracks out there that lack depth depth, lacked creativity, really lack any meaning, that are just made because they could make them, because they want to make a chart topper that people will buy. They want to make a track that DJs will play in festivals all around the world. And really, it's going to take a lot of the creativity and meaning out of music. And again, there's no denying that. I'm a big supporter of AI, but that will be a downside. That will be a thing that will happen. And I don't think that will be a good thing. So again, that is the bad aspect of things, is that AI is going to allow for a lot of unoriginal, boring, and repetitive music to be put out there that wouldn't be put out there otherwise were it not for AI. Now, I do think there's a silver lining to all of this. Let's get to the last part, the part that I call the good again. We talked about the good. We talked about how that's going to lead to some bad, but let's talk about how that's ultimately going to lead to a good thing down the line. Now, like I said, because I think the market's going to be flooded with a lot of unoriginal, uncreative music, it's really going to be up to us, the listeners and the audience, to decide what we like and what we don't like. What I think is going to end up happening is that people are going to be able to tell when music was AI generated, and they're going to be able to tell that it just lacks a little bit of something behind it. It lacks that intention. It lacks that creativity compared to other tracks or music or songs that were previously made without AI. So what I think is going to happen is, as the market gets saturated with these AI generated uncreative tracks, people are going to start developing their tastes and preferences towards those tracks that have some sort of creativity in them, whether they were made with the help of AI or not. So what I think is going to happen is the music scene will be flooded with all sorts of uncreative tracks, and it's really going to be up to the consumer and the audience to decide what they like. And over time, people are going to realize that they need a little bit more out of their music. They don't just want the chart toppers. They don't just want the songs that are going to be played by all the DJs in the club. People aren't going to like those catchy festival bangers that are being made just for that purpose. I think that in the end, this will ultimately be a good thing, because people are going to start realizing that there's a lot more to music. There's a lot more to being creative. There's a lot more to what you can do in a song that's not just making it purely for fun or purely to be a chart topper. So I think that in the end, overall, people are going to prefer those tracks that have that intention, that have that creativity, that were made to be something more, that were made to be something artistic to some extent, that were made to be something that people can really listen to, something that people can really enjoy. So that's why I say it's the good again, because even though the market will be saturated with these uncreative tracks, I think that over time, people will start to prefer those tracks that are more creative, that are more intentional, and it's going to force artists and producers to start being more intentional with their music and start thinking about why they do certain things instead of just putting tracks out there to put tracks out there. So there you go. That was the good, the bad, the good again, and what I think will happen with AI in the music industry. So ultimately, what I think is going to happen in the future is that the producer will still maintain full control over their track, and it's just going to be some sort of assisted tool that allows the producer to fully express themselves. The producer is going to be almost the orchestrator or the composer of the track, using all the tools available to their disposal to make the absolute best track that they can. Whether they make the chords on their own, use their own synth presets, and maybe use some AI tools to add the things that they wouldn't be able to add otherwise, AI is ultimately going to allow the producer to really be as creative as they can and use every tool to their disposal. So ultimately, I do think that the creative and talented people will be able to stand out, and they will be able to use these AI tools for their benefit and for the benefit of their audience. So if I could leave you guys with just one final parting note, it would be this. Next time you're listening to a track by your favorite artist, I want you to ask yourself, if I found out that this track was AI generated, would I still like it as much? I think that's going to be a very new strict standard that listeners are going to acquire, because there are times you will tell yourself, wow, if this was an AI generated track, I would be impressed. But I do think there are a lot of tracks out there right now that if you did find out they were AI generated, you would lose your liking for them. So I want to leave you guys with that. Let that be your new standard. Start asking yourself that, and really remind yourself that even if the track you like did use AI generated tools, if it's really creative, if it's really intentional, and it's really artistic, it might not be such a bad thing. But I've heard a lot of tracks out there that are being played on the biggest stages that I think just aren't all that creative. And if people found out they were AI generated, they would stop liking them. But that's all I have to say about the topic. So I want you guys to let me know what you guys think about AI in the music industry. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Remember, I want this channel to be a place of discussion. So I want people to discuss what they think, what they like, what they dislike, and what the future of music production will be with AI. Let me know if you guys agree, disagree, or feel free to provide your own opinions in the comments. But other than that, that is all I have for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.